Hey, this is Dalton Smith on a brand new podcast called The Discussion. And here we're going to talk about everything really that nobody really cares about. We've got a lot of fun topics today, or at least interesting to us. Um, and this is just a show where we discuss everything, man, from hot rods to current events to investments to politics to whatever's on the on a blue collar guy's mind. Today I have my nephew here, Riese Duty. We've worked together for years and years and years.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I've known him his whole life, and yeah, so we talk a lot together. We banter a lot together. Um, he's the guy I call when I want to talk about nothing and make it feel important, right? Um, so Riese, introduce yourself. How you doing?
Yeah, my name is Riese Duty. Yeah, like Dalton said, we worked together a long time in construction work. And uh, yeah, I'm excited about a podcast like this because Dalton and I are good at talking about nothing and getting stuck in a conversation for hours. So this is going to be awesome. And yeah, I'm excited to do this.
Very cool. And what do you do for a living?
I am a real estate agent on the side, and I run a small dental marketing company.
Nice. That's funny. Real estate on the side, huh?
Yeah, real estate on the side.
Nice. Very cool. And I didn't say what I did. I guess I'm a general contractor. Um, I do what I have to do to survive. So if anybody approaches me for work, I'm going to do it. Right.
Yeah.
I do dabble in real estate, but not selling like Riese does. He's got his license. I'm trying to make passive income, do like rental homes and things of that nature. And I play in the financial markets some in Forex. Um, so yeah, but both of us are kind of go-getters. I mean, if the world fell apart and we had to start over, we would hustle, we would survive because that's what we do. We kind of got that in common. We grab things and we run with it. Well, listen, to get into it, the first thing I wanted to ask to bring up here is what's going on overseas. Okay. And now I don't follow politics. Okay. I don't even turn on the news. Okay. Because I don't believe what I'm being told. Okay. I don't believe what the media is telling me. So I'm curious what you think about Russia and Ukraine and the US being involved with Russia.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I would say for starters, I couldn't even point to Ukraine on a map. I know it's, in Russia or close to Russia. I do know, Russia is not a country to mess with.
Right.
Because of the leader, right? And
Putin's taking his modeling photos coming out of the river with SKS. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, but I don't really have a whole lot of opinions on it right now, just because same as you. I'm not really keeping up with politics right now. With who's in office, I don't want to see. It's just when he first got into office, it's just one thing after another. Just disgracing our country, and I got tired of it, didn't want to hear it anymore. So I've kind of sat myself out of the whole politics arena, and once we get someone worth a shit in the office, then I'll pay attention a little bit more, so yeah.
So here's the deal. Here's the thing that's interesting to me is like we had this whole war in the Middle East. And we've been fighting this war in the Middle East since I was young, man. I mean, when I went to high school, it was Desert Storm, and the guys were leaving high school and going to Desert Storm. We've been fighting in the Middle East forever, and it's like it's gone. I mean, I know that we pulled out our soldiers, actually, didn't we? We pulled out almost all of our soldiers out of the Middle East.
I think all of them. There's bases set up worldwide and in every country, every place. So what do they call it? What do they call it when you're in a different country and US owns a specific building? What I'm talking about?
Embassy?
The embassy. So there's going to be embassies all over, right? From what I understand, but also, the war's over. I think there's people stuck there because of the way Biden pulled out. He pulled out well, I didn't really keep up with it, but from what I understand, he just started pulling people and there was no structure to the pullout, it's just
Right.
madness. So there's people there that are stuck, but also you have to think there's so many, okay, just like you said, this war has been going on since you were in high school, which was in the late 90s, you graduated,
Mhm.
right? Okay. So I was
2000,
born
yeah.
in 2000. So I was born in 96. So, I don't really know about the beginning, but I do know that that's a 20, what are we talking, 26 years or something like that,
Yeah.
fighting a war overseas. Just think of, like, if I was born overseas in Iraq and, as a Christian man, having conviction and stuff like that, decided, well, I'm going to side, with the Americans and what's right, you know what I mean? And I'm 26 now today. I mean, all I know is the war and helping America, and
Right.
then the U.S. government just leaves, and I'm like,
Right.
what the hell do I do here? I'm not
Right.
really an Iraqi, I'm pretty
Right.
much an American. What the
Right.
hell am I still doing here?
Right.
So I do know that it's pretty shitty the way things are left over there, and now I don't know what's gonna happen or what is happening. So
So the deal is I guess I'm just comfortable with the idea of us being in a war in the Middle East. We've been fighting there
yeah,
for so long. It's just what we do, and then we pulled out. It's over. They're still going to keep fighting. You know what I mean? But I
yeah,
guess my deal is that I'm more comfortable with the idea of a war in the Middle East than a war on the Russian border, because I feel like in the Middle East these guys have been fighting since the beginning of time, and we just kind of stuck our fingers in it, for whatever reason. But man, when Russia gets involved, when Europe gets involved, world wars break out from that type of stuff. You know what I mean? And
right,
so I feel like the seriousness of this is much more when Russia and Putin gets involved than all these little, Middle Eastern countries that, just been fighting forever. It's just what they do. It's like two dogs at a fence. You know what I mean? Um, to me, Russia's a whole different deal. And it's funny you say that about Ukraine, because I thought it was made up. I thought it was a whole made up deal. And man, Ukraine is substantial. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
thought it was like kind of like Borat with Kazakhstan. I thought Kazakhstan was made up, and then I looked it up, and Kazakhstan is like massive. Did you know that's a real place too? I'm horrible at geography.
Yeah, me too.
But I
Well,
saw
I
this
was going to
video.
say, I was just going to say before we jump on to Ukraine, another thing about the war and the pullout. I do know that Bush was in office when I was young, so I don't remember anything Bush said, but I do remember, or I do know what people are saying today. And he said that it was good to pull out because of the money we're spending on the war over there, over pretty much, I mean, terrorism, nothing
Right.
really, Today I just looked it up. Over the entire war, it says we spent $5.8 trillion. That's just a quick Google search. I don't know if it's actually accurate for a 20-year war, but $5.8 trillion, that's a lot of money.
Right.
I was trying to figure out how much we spent a year over there,
How much
because
did
I
they
do know
just
it's
spend
something
on COVID?
stupid, right?
I,
Yeah, 2.7 trillion or 2.2
right.
trillion, I think, on
God,
COVID. Yeah.
good Lord.
Yeah, but you also have to break down that 2.2 trillion numbers, because not a lot of it went to the actual American people. It
That's
went
true.
to, so no, that's a scandal in itself.
Right. Right. Let's just pack scandal on top of scandal on top of scandal. Right.
Right,
I
right.
hope this isn't another one. I don't feel like Putin will be as forgiving as our
Mhm.
buddies over in the Middle East. Um,
Yeah,
so listen, I'm a car guy,
yeah,
and you're a car guy,
yeah.
right?
Switching it up, right?
Yeah, switching it up. So I want to ask you, what
Mhm.
is the absolute best sports car ever? Not that you can drive,
Yeah,
not track. I know we're not talking NASCAR, we're not talking F1 and all that. I'm saying like at the quarter
yeah.
mile drag strip racing on the highway, best sports car.
Yeah, that's a hard question. Whenever you sent that to me, 30 minutes, an hour ago, I started thinking about that one, because I mean, which way do you go? Is S the most bought? Is it the fastest? Is it the coolest looking, the most unique? I mean, or is it just the best in my eyes? You know what I mean? So
To me, it's the
that's a difficult
fastest.
question.
It's the
See,
fastest.
but that's not it for me. For me, it's either the most iconic or the most overlooked, but now is extremely rare.
No
You know what I
shit.
mean? Yeah. See, because I don't care about going fast. I care about looking super cool.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So
Damn.
yeah, so I mean, most sold, I feel like the best sports car, like the best sports car that most people bought and is sought after is a 69 Camaro. I mean, everyone and their brothers wants a 69 Camaro in their garage as their classic car to go to car shows on the weekends. For me personally, it would be the in between 70 and 73 Mach 1 Mustang, because they didn't make a whole lot of them. They're hard to find. And Mustang switched it up, but not horribly, like they
Right.
did in the 80s. They made some ugly looking Mustang. I don't even remember what it's called,
It's called the
but
Fox Body, isn't it?
no, not the Fox Body. I like the Fox Body. No, it looks a lot like a Ford Maverick. Um,
Damn, now
you
I'm
know what I'm
curious what
talking
that's
about?
called. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's my opinion, but both of mine are classics, not super fast, can be fast, but not definitely not a Bugatti or anything like that. So
I just looked up that Camaro. Yeah, that Camaro's hot. I didn't know what body style it was. That's pretty sweet.
mhm.
Um, yeah,
Lots of people like them.
yeah, that's pretty sharp. Yeah, the 80s Mustang was a joke. It's like Mad Max, the last Mad Max, the fourth one, it doesn't count. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not a real
Yeah.
thing. So when I used to go to the drag strip, you remember when I was working with Brad and working with Clout
Hmm.
Racing, pushing nitrous, when we went to the drag strip, I want to say, like, guys with normal cars, Mustangs own the track, man. They just, I mean, if the Mustang came out, usually they had, like, these big turbos that were sucking air through the bumpers.
Right.
And they, did I ever tell you about that Mustang? Me and Brad were out there, the white Mustang with the turbo and the bumper.
Mm-mm.
All right, so right where the license plate went, this guy had this giant, like, just big hole, like a headlight, like a round headlight there, but it was a big hole, and it was, his air intake, man. He went out there. I couldn't wait. You could hear this thing, like, because it was screaming when he would start it. So he pulled up and he started it, and he pulled up. I can't remember the car. He pulled up beside me and he was revving this thing. Yeah, wah, wah, wah. And it just sounded like a tornado was getting sucked into this car.
Yeah.
And so the light starts to move and they pin it, yak, 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 like that. And it turned green. He let off the clutch and it just exploded fire out of the
Yeah.
hood, man. The hood went flying off, man, and fire went all underneath the car. It was the first time I'd ever seen an engine explode on the track. And I was watching close because it was that beautiful, beautiful Mustang. But yeah, Mustangs are bad to the bone, man. So me, I drive a Challenger. I drive a 2010 SRT8, and I like it. I do really like it. But if I had like any car that I could ever get, man, I don't know that would be the car that I chose. Um, me, I like whatever's the newest, right? I want Bluetooth, I want lights, I
Right.
want heated and air
The
conditioned
opposite of
seats.
me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want the stereo. I want it all.
Right.
Um to me, it's power. And I guess that goes back to my mechanic days, harnessing and holding the power of the motor. Um and I don't even have to go fast. It's just, to me, the beauty is in the mechanics of the motor. The fact
Right.
that there is potentially 400 to 1,000 horsepower sitting here idle.
Hmm.
It's amazing to me. So I guess for me, it's not so much which car is it. It is what's in the motor. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? If you approached me
Hmm.
with a supercharged V8 and all-wheel drive, man, I love all-wheel drive. I was watching a video the other day, and there was a Porsche 911 turbo all-wheel drive, and it spanked.
Yeah.
a Dodge Hellcat, man. I mean, spanked the shit out of it. And it was like, I think it had like 200 less horsepower or something, man, but it just couldn't touch it. And that'd probably be the car for me, the Porsche 911. And you know what the hell a Porsche 9, do you know what a Porsche 911 looks like?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
yeah,
think they're
yeah,
ugly
yeah.
as hell, right?
No, I love Porsches, but if I'm gonna go with Porsche, once again, I like to go older. I like to go to the 50s where they've got the leather hood straps, like super
Yes.
old, super small. I like Porsches. I just don't like modern day cars that much. I understand, they're
Why?
super
What's
fast,
the
but that's
reason
not what
behind
I'm
it, though? What's the reason behind it?
behind why I don't like them.
Yeah, like you don't like comfort or air conditioned seats. Like, what is it?
No, it's not that I don't like comfort. I like driving something that I don't know, man. It's just different personalities. Like I drive an '03 Jeep that, feels like, I mean, you're just doing this shit down the road,
Right.
living in the country.
Right,
And,
right, right.
and, I just love it, man. I really do. I had a, 15 Tundra before the Jeep, and it was nice. It was real nice. Leather seats, heated seats,
Okay.
beautiful, beautiful truck.
So I
But
pull up to Reese. And I've got a 1950 whatever 911, or not a 911, whatever Porsche you want, right? It's right there. It's
okay.
perfect. Okay. And then
Yeah.
I've got a 2022 almost track ready 911 with every bell and whistle that is available. All wheel drive, outruns the Hellcat, right? Like it's going to warm your coffee for you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I pull them up
So
side by side. You're walking away with the old Porsche.
with one. So here's the deal. I'm a businessman, so I'm walking away with the new Porsche to sell it. But if I'm not thinking about money, yeah, I think I'm walking away with the old one. You know what I mean?
I told Riese the other day, I told him if I won $1 million, I would buy him a Mustang. And I said, on the title, it would say, if this guy comes and tries to trade this damn thing in, you have to call me, because I know that's where he'd go. You go ship and sell it.
That's where I'd go. Yeah, man.
That's
There's
awesome,
more
man.
important things to buy. But no, man, I honestly, if I could pick any car, it would be 71, 72, 73, one of those years, Mach 1 Mustang. I played a video game when I was 10 years old, and that car was in it. And I remember seeing it for the first time and just thinking like, man, dude, this thing is just wild looking,
Right.
And ever since then, I've just been in love with it. So we're talking 16 years now. That's been my favorite car I've wanted since then. So yeah, but I will say, if I had to pick one classic car and it wasn't a sports car, I'm definitely going with like an old Bronco or Land Cruiser or something that. Not a sports car, but but
I gotta agree there.
Yeah.
If it wasn't a sports car, it would have to be like I think it's like a 66 or 77 Bronco, kind of that. They kind of copied it on the new Bronco. I think those cars are beautiful, kind of like the International.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, those are nice. You remember Bob Chevalier's old Land Cruiser? I love that thing too, man. God, I love that truck. That was like a 7 point something liter straight six. I was gonna say, it's funny how this comes back to when you're a kid, because I've always had an obsession with black Porsche 911s, right? And when I was little, we had a neighbor that was a blonde, and she was single, and she was like this businesswoman, right? And I had a crush on her, and she had a jet black Porsche 911 that she would always pull up in and get out of, and it was just like imprinted in my brain, you know what I mean? And she took me for a ride in it. We went to the gas station or whatever when I was little, and I just remember riding that car and looking at her, and ever since then it's been black cars. Like, what kind of car do you want? I want a black car. I want a black sports car. I want a black sports car. Which one? I want the 911, so it's the same thing, it's the same thing. It's funny how that imprints like that when you're a kid, man. For Christmas, actually, Dad got me a black model of a 911, and it's in my room. Yeah.
Nice. Your K5 Blazer did it for me when I was young.
Really?
I would trade the Jeep I have for either a Bronco, K5 Blazer, or Land Cruiser. There's no way in hell that the trade is going to even out. But those are three. I like the big old, cars, the big old tanks, you know.
Dude,
So
that K5 is bad to the bone, man. That
yeah.
K5 is bad to the bone. When it comes to just brutal, like caveman type durability and strength, man, that truck, good Lord, that truck, it was just like made from the earth, like a dinosaur or something. You know what I mean? It was just, I mean, I remember coming out of mud puddles and like the belts would be off the motor and it would be overheating and like blowing steam out of the motor, and I'm like filling it up with creek water to get home. And it
Yeah.
seemed perfectly happy with that. It
Yeah.
seemed perfectly fine with that. And like your Isuzu, you go into the water and it's no carpet in it and all the water is coming through the truck and it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
I
no
tore
problem,
that Isuzu up. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were shifting in your gear shifts underwater. Yeah. But
Yeah.
you have to tell that sometime. That's a good story. Okay, so oh man, we're getting kind of close to the end here, I believe. I wanted to interject something and I wanted to get your opinion. Okay. Okay. Perhaps I've told you this before. So I've done mentoring on and off, right? I mentor kind of married guys, and young Christian guys and things like that. So I have like this coursework I take people through, and there's like 8 or 10 things that I think you can be taught that really shape and mold who you are as a person. So here's one of them. I'm going to ask it to you. I'm going to ask you, and you tell me what you think. Okay. So I want you to think of your 5 closest people. No children. Okay. The 5 closest people to you that influence you. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you think of those 5 people? You don't have to list them.
Yeah, I could. I'm in a transition period. One was my broker, and he just recently retired, so I don't really talk to him too much anymore about business or anything like that. But he was definitely one of my 5. So right now I'm in a transition period of finding probably a 4th or a 5th. I'm, very a recluse, you know what I mean? So I don't stick around. I don't like stick around different people or, often and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely think it impacts, who you are.
So here's the deal. So in this thing, I have people write down the 5 closest people to them. Not closest. Well, yeah, closest. Okay. The 5 closest people. And then the truth of life is that you will always be the average of those 5 people. Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to be like, I don't know, you're in real estate. Let's say you want to be like a professional real estate guy. From what I've seen, 3 of your 5 influences need to be real estate people who are who you want to be. Not just normal ass real estate people, but very successful real estate people. And then that will get you over the hump and get you where you want to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Most people that I mentored, they'd be in a rut. Like, I can't get out of this rut. I can't get out of this rut. And then I would ask them, well, who are your 5 closest influences? You know what I mean? And they would name out these 5 people. And then I would say, what do you think about these people? And they'd usually be like, well, this guy, he's not really going anywhere. He's lazy. This girl, she's mean to me, blah, blah, blah. And I'd say, man, like 4 out of your 5 influences are people that you do not like. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like people that, like, if one of the questions is, if you could trade lives with these people, would you do it? And a lot of time the answer is no. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you got to say, man, if you wouldn't trade lives with these people, if you wouldn't swap businesses or whatever with these people, man, you don't need to be being influenced by these people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. So at that point, you got to cut ties and start intentionally finding and putting people into influential, areas into your life. Have you found that holds true from what you've seen, or it's false?
No, I mean, I see what's behind it. Like, I see how it could work and stuff like that. Me personally, in my life, I don't think I'm seeing it work right now. And that's because, we sold our house, went on a 5 to 7 month RV trip, just me and my wife, got back, started a new business, you know what I mean? So right now, I don't think I really have even 5 people I hang out with consecutively. So,
Mhm.
but I definitely think when that's on your mind, like it was before, whenever I was running the construction company and doing real estate and stuff like that, it definitely was on my mind. And I did have 5 people that I would think about as my, closest, people to impact my life. And they were people like Steve, my uncle, who's made it big in business, and Todd, who's made it big in real estate, and then yeah. So I'm not going to list them off, but yeah, I definitely think it works. I definitely think it's something people need to have in their back of their mind and know who they're hanging out with. So
Right. Right. Absolutely. Um, I've found it holds very true. I think my biggest issue, sometimes I talk to people and I say, "Who are your five?" And they say, "Man, I can't name two." You know what I mean?
right,
And that's when you kind of become a recluse. That's when you analyze and say, "Man, I'm not getting around people." You know what I mean? And
hmm
I think that's where a lot of people are. It's definitely where I'm at. You know what I mean? And that kind of has to do with COVID and the world changing and everything shutting down. You know what I mean? It's hard to get around people nowadays. And people are just different, man. People are
yeah,
freaked out. People are freaked out about the government. I mean, we used to have just our basic prejudices, which is what's the color of your skin, what's your religion,
hmm
what's your political party, but now we got a new one, and that is, do you wear a mask or don't you, and do you take a vaccine or don't you? You know what I
right.
mean?
Vaccinated or not, right,
Right. And people are serious
right.
about this, man. People are not
They really
joking
are.
about this. I was, me, I'm always
Yeah,
watching YouTube videos, man, and people are freaked out about this. Like, if you do take the vaccine or you don't take the vaccine, like, people are ready to throw down over this kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
right,
Which is
right.
insane to me. Like,
Well, it's also weird to me. Like I get older people needing to be cautious of, what they're around because they're older. Their immune system isn't as, strong as it once was. So I definitely get that. But man, I'm not gonna name who it was, but there's someone in my family who she she doesn't come to family events anymore because she's older and she's scared of COVID. And some people
mm,
and she's vaccinated, right? And so are a lot of the people in this part of the family. They're
right,
vaccinated as well. But this woman is missing, like, her grandchildren's birthdays and stuff like
right,
that
right.
because she's not coming around.
Mm,
And then she just had a cancer scare, and I was like, oh well, she's gonna snap out of it. She's gonna start coming around and stuff like that. Turns out she doesn't have cancer, and she's right back to the old ways of not coming
right.
around and stuff like that. And it's just like, it blows my mind. You guys are missing life. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well,
It's yeah, it's crazy.
and I feel like we're missing America too. Like, it's freedom.
Hmm
And freedom isn't, man, let's all do the same thing. Freedom is, you do what you do, whether I agree with it or not. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right,
there has to be a margin of error here. Like, people are allowed to make the wrong decision. Like, if I think, man, no way the government's vaccinating me, I should let other people say, man, I absolutely want to get vaccinated. And my answer to that is, man, go for it. You know what I mean?
right,
Like, what
right.
you do, you know what I mean? It's like me telling somebody, well, I'm in general contracting. That's the best way to make money. Well, I want to be a truck driver. Well, that's insane. Everybody should be a general contractor. You know what I
Right.
mean? Right? You're not going to make money
Right.
being a truck driver. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And you just can't do that to people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think also people have the freedom to live risky lives. Like, well, if you don't get the
hmm
vaccine, you could die, right? Or others could die. Yeah, well, if you go skydiving, to me, it's way more dangerous to skydive.
Right.
Or go rock climbing. Like, these guys are climbing rock faces with no protective gear. Like, I'm not going to go to them and say, you have to put on protective gear. You're not allowed to climb this mountain. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just not the way
Right.
it's going to happen. Back when Johnny Knoxville and all those guys were doing like nitro circus and stuff, one guy jumped out of an airplane without a parachute. You know what I
Right.
mean? And they gave him a parachute
Travis
on the way
Pastrana.
down.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's
Yep.
like,
Yeah, I remember that.
you're not going to stop him from doing it. I mean, it's
Right.
asinine, it's crazy, but it's his right. It's his
Right.
freedom. If he wants to jump out of an
Right.
airplane without a parachute, that's his business, right?
Yeah.
I'm not doing it with him. And but that's the beauty of America, man. Let them do what they want to do, and
Yeah. I feel like we're getting far away from what America truly is. You know what I mean? New America. But no, I definitely agree with you.
yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So listen, we're about out of time. We got just a minute left. I want to say here that on this show, it's called The Discussion. And so me and Riese are getting started here, and we are discussing what's near and dear to our hearts, right? And just bantering and talking. But what we really want to do is bring other people into this discussion. Okay. And of course, we'd love to have famous people, right? We'd love to have, people that everybody wants to hear from. But I got to tell you, I have a heart for the middle class. I have a heart for the blue collar. And while I would never, snub a rich person or a poor person, I guess I want to say it's open to everyone. Okay. So,
Mhm.
Everybody goes through struggles, everybody learns lessons, and I want to give people an opportunity to talk about it. So if you are listening to this and you feel like, hey man, I think if I went on this show, I think I have something that the world would like to hear. I think my story is worth listening to. We want you here. We want you to be on the discussion. We want you to tell your story, whether it's overcoming, big odds in your life, whether it's medical things, whether it's military things, business things. We love investing here. If it's religious things, doesn't have to be our religion either. Whatever you want to talk about, man, whatever you want to do, hit us up. I'll put a way to get a hold of us into the tagline of the video. Shoot an email over, and we will get back in touch with you. And yeah, come and join the discussion and be part of the conversation and of the group. Cool.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to shut it down. Riese, you got anything else to say?
No, I'm good, man.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us. We're going to put another one out soon. Be sure and like and share, follow, subscribe, hit the bell, the whistle, whatever it is you do to make your machine squeal when we put out another one. And we'll see you next time. Later.